Well, my friends, I know, can't believe it, I am back. I am back because as I finished up the previous video, one of my supporters sent me a comment and asked, Jay, are you going to be able to do summer school for stitching? And after I, looked at the calendar and thought about it, I told her I didn't think I could. And I kind of decided, well, let me go on with what I had planned. Then I got a couple of more asked, Jay, is summer school for stitching? Are you working on it? So I decided, well, why don't I just take the project that I'm working on, break it down, and share with you. And I'm just going to give you a little kind of behind the scenes, kind of little information that I think you might enjoy and can use. So, this is Jay. This is Jay's Summer School for Stitching 2025. I'm trying to make it. But since July is just about over, but that's okay. All right. This is, I'm going to call this and break it down into, it may have to be 2 videos, I don't know, probably so. How I design my projects. The last video I shared with you how I redesign some whips, so that I don't lose all that beautiful work. This project, how I design things or how I get ideas, and I hope it will help you too. So now, the first thing I do is go to my stash before I go look at anything or try to come up or think of something or sit there. Do you know how many books I have to sit there and go through books? Well, that would be a whole month in itself. Well, that wouldn't that wouldn't make sense. So the first thing I do is go back and look in my stash. Now that means not only yarn stash, but what other stash of things, crafted things do you have? And that's how I kind of set this little vignette up so that we can just talk about what's in some of our stashes as makers. Okay, so what's in my stash? The first thing when I'm thinking of a project or coming up, of course, now I'm doing faux swag sweaters. So I kind of know the project. I just wasn't sure on, a new design. So of course, I went to my yarn stash and just found something. As hot as summer. I don't want to work with anything too heavy right now. And I don't try to, since everyone's in different parts of the world, I'm going to let you, once we start, you go to your stash and find yarn that will work for you in the weather you're in now. So, I got some yarn, at least 2 good skeins. I used like a medium number 4. You might could use some sports weight. Some people probably have even tried some DK weight. I don't know. But I stay kind of mainly at a light to medium number 4. Something that will fit a US number 8. That yarn would be gauged to a US number 8. So, whether you have yarn store yarn, I used to buy a lot of yarn from Webs and stuff like that, and back in the day when I was going to, yarn shops, you get some at yarn shops, and then we'd have other sales, and you just like certain yarn. A lot of people like Knit Picks yarns. Those are really pretty, got lots of colors, but you get anything you want. Or if you do it yourself, dye it yourself, or spin it yourself, that's great for people that spin their own yarns. All right, so as I was looking, go ahead and make sure you have at least 2 or 3 skeins. You kind of have to know now about how much it takes to make this faux swag sweater. You're going to need, of course, some knit needles, and you will need at least 2. One I've got in the project, but I have, you need one at least 36 to 40 inches or whatever, a longer needle to cast on the number of stitches that we'll cast on. But you don't have to go over that. It's just 36 or 40 will work just fine. So I have some Knitter's Pride here. I've got the Knitter's Dream. I got some Knitter's Dream. I just buy all kind of needles. A sale is a sale is a sale. And I load up when I get a sale because I always need needles. We're using US number 8, or you can use a US number 9. I use a 9 because as I grew fluffier, it was a lot easier for me to give myself a little ease without changing the size, not going up to a 3X or 4X when it wouldn't fit me at all. But if I just up the needle one size from an 8 to a 9, it seems to be working for now. The next thing I wanted to look in, I have a big collection of buttons. So I have a lot of buttons. So you may look, this is looking in the stash. Go to your stash, see what you have. These are pretty, la petite. And look at these. And I had at least one La Mode, but that's all right. They were the same. They're close enough. They're the same buttons. But I've got 3 cards. So that's what 9. You may not need 9 buttons, but I'd suggest at least 6. So look and see if you have some buttons. We're going to try to use up some of our stuff. And of course, I'm going to be sharing with you some things that you can do, because once I found that these buttons in my button stash, well, I'm going to need a button band. A button band. Well, what is that, Jay? Well, that's just some part of the sweater or the project that I'm going to set aside just so that I can use the button to decorate this button band. And that's what I'm calling it, a button band. Does that make sense? And I put those on some double-pointed needles just so that I can just knit faster and not have to worry about a long circular. And of course, we need a pattern. Now, if you like the written word, fine. You can find once I get into this, you'll have a chance to find your own design or find your own stitch that you might like. You might have a stitch you like that you do all the time. You say, well, Jay, I just really like. So that'll be no problem. Of course, I'm going to be working from charts. And so I went through my big old box of charts, and I found this one, and I worked up, of course, a swatch, which we will do, which I will work with you. And because you need to see how the stitch is going to look before we get into the actual design. Does that make sense? I need to see how this stitch is going to look, and I'm going to show you in just a little bit. So, or you may have some beads. You may like to string beads. You might decide to string some beads or find a pattern that you've used before, or you may have yarn that have the beads already on the yarn. Doesn't matter. It's going to be your sweater, your project. I'm just sharing with you how I design, how I go through my stash of supplies. And what's in my stash? What do I have that I can already use without running out buying something else? I already got too much stuff. So, all right, take a look at this and let's get started with Jay's Summer School for Stitching 2025. And the first thing you're going to notice, I hadn't showed you the project because you're going to have to wait on that. I'm going to build from each section up, build the project up from the bottom, each section first, before you actually get to see it. That's why we might have to have a part 2. All right, go ahead, take a look, and let's start building this project. Back in just a moment. All right, so looking back, we know what you've picked out some yarn. We know what needle what size and the length you're going to use to start knitting this faux swag sweater. So I pulled up my size chart, the same chart that you will see on all the sweaters. This is what makes it so nice. Once I got the setup and I got some steps down, all I have to do is just change when we want to change the stitch or the design, which is what I'm walking you through tonight. This is a visual tutorial Okay, that's how I love to share. I love to just show you as much as I can and make the steps pretty much the same where possible. What do you think of that? So real quick, you can just look at it. You've seen it so many times. Ooh, got a little night bug. Okay, so the medium to large, or it can be small, medium, and large. These are generic sizes that you'd find in a lot of stores. It just worked out good for me. These are base numbers. I can change them. You can change them at any time to fit a particular project. 97 is for this first one, small, medium, and large. As you know, I'm in the middle. I'm 1x to 2x, 105 stitches. My bra size is 44 to 46 in circumference, and I am a C cup. I believe that's what it is, C cup. So if that will help you figure out if you can wear this or close to it, you're only working the back of the sweater. So really you don't have to worry about the front, but I just want you to know, to see which of these you can fall into. 3x to 4x is the next number up, and all these numbers are up by 8 stitches. So if you're really larger in the bust or broader in the back, all you have to do is add 8 more stitches here. And if you're going to need to go up again, add another 8 more stitches. 8 stitches, you'll be surprised how it works. It works really nice. So take a look at that and make sure that you pick something, hopefully, that you are close to. And we're just going to go ahead and cast on. Take your needle and the yarn, and we're just going to cast on. Get off of there. We're going to cast on, and then I just want you to wait for me there because I'm going to get you started. We're going to start and then continue. We're going to start, and then I'm going to show you the bottom edge because we have to decide. The chart I picked out is not real hard, but it has really pretty and a lot of intricate parts to the stitch. So I thought maybe we needed something a little thicker at the bottom. So go ahead and cast on, and I'm going to come back and we're going to start the 1 by 1 rib. I'm going to show you again, or get you started on it for those who are new. All right, back in just a moment. All right, my friends, I've cast on a smaller sample so that I didn't have to repeat the original one. And as you see, I have, and don't forget a few of those stitch markers. Most knitters know that, but if you're new, we don't want to leave you out. Just get some very simple stitch markers. All right, so what I want to go over with you, just like I said, especially if you're new. All right, on this, I've cast on, you've cast on your number, and I've cast on this swatch number. All right, the row that is cast on, this one right, with the little bumps at the bottom, I call this a wrong side row. On all of my 1 by 1 ribbing or 2 by 2, whatever, I call this row that's on the needle right now a wrong side. So in order to get to the right side, the first thing I'm going to do is knit that first stitch. It's not really part of the ribbing, it's like an edge stitch. It's on the edge of the sample. So I knit mine on every row. Some people slip it. You can do whatever you like if you're seasoned. And you like I say, you just do it all the time. You just do whichever you like. So I knit that. Now the first stitch I come to after that, I'm going to purl because I've already designated this as a wrong side row. So I'm going to purl 1. Then I'm going to put the yarn in back and I'm going to knit 1. Then purl, then knit, yarn in front again, purl. This is the 1 by 1 rib stitch, real simple, real easy. Yarn in back, knit. If you take your eye off or get interrupted and you lose your place, go back and just go back a few stitches and go purl, knit, purl, knit. So now the next stitch should be a purl. So I bring the yarn in front to purl and I continue across the row. Now just to save time, and it is so hot, I want to let you go across your long row and I will see you as you get near the end because I want to remind you of something. But that's all you're doing. Like I said, if you get distracted, just go back a couple of stitches, 2 or 3 stitches, and just repeat. Purl, knit, and stay and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've let you work across your long row, and on this we started, remember this is a wrong side row, so we started with an edge stitch and then we start purl, knit, purl, knit. We should end on this side with a purl also. So as I'm working out, let me go back a few stitches, purl, knit, purl, knit. So I need to bring the yarn to the front. I need to purl a stitch, then yarn in back, knit a stitch. And as I come to the end, you should have 2 stitches left. One is a purl stitch, and then the last one is the edge stitch. So my yarn comes in front, and I purl that stitch. I'm going to have to pull it tight. Oh, it got hot. My yarn got wet. And then, of course, the yarn goes in the back to knit. And let me just see if it'll look decent enough to pull it out. My yarn got wet from sweat. Sorry. It's so hot. Alright, so now when you turn the work, that was the wrong side, so automatically when I turn, this is the right side of the work. And you can mark it if you are new and you need to put a little locking marker or something on the side that we just finished. You can take a little marker if you need to and just pin it. Okay, now that's the wrong side. This is the right side. On the right side, you may have to read your stitches a little bit just to make sure you stay in order. This is the right side. The first stitch I knit, or you can slip, or whatever you do that you normally do. So I knit. I'm going to pull it tight, see if I can kind of tighten it up. Now, when you read the stitch, you start out with a knit stitch. This throws a lot of people on the right side of the way I do it, but you can read the stitch. You can see that's a knit stitch. You can see yours up close, so I knit that stitch. Now I go right back with the yarn in front because I can read the next stitch. There's a purl bump, so purl, then knit, then purl. You can see the bump. Yarn in back, knit, yarn in front, purl. Let's see. Oh, yarn in front, purl, yarn in back, knit. I'm sorry. Let me just go back and check my stitch. Purl, knit, purl. Now yarn in back, knit. You just read your stitches if you get lost. They should stack on top of each other. Alright, knit and purl. Okay, so now again, now you can see the nice edge you have, hopefully. I hope you chose a really pretty color, and I hope you chose something light and airy, okay? But you're going to continue across, and when you get to this end, you will simply do the same thing, turn, and then you'll be on the wrong side if you have a little mark there. Now, we're going to do the 1x1 rib for at least, everyone, everywhere, every size, for at least 2 inches. Doesn't have to be perfect 2 inches, but close enough to 2 inches. And when you stop, make sure you are on a right side row so that we can start the next step. So I will work this off camera just to save time, and I'm going to work up to my 2 inches or as close as I can get it. Then I will stop on a right side row. All right. Happy knitting. It's going to be so cute. I can't show you, but it's going to be cute. All right. See you in a little bit. All right, my friends, I am back. I am back to do a check-in with you to see if we're on the same page. When I left, you were to work on your 1x1 ribbing for the bottom border of our faux swag sweater. Remember, we're starting at the very back edge, very bottom, and we're going to work up towards the shoulders. All right, so you were to work it for at least around 2 inches. It didn't have to be perfect, but 2 inches. I had the back side marked with a little stitch, locking marker, just so that for those that are new and still have problems trying to see which is the right and wrong side of a rib stitch. So once you've done that, you were to stop on a right side row. Here I have a right side row. Can you see that? And my 2 inches. Doesn't that look nice? Okay, now You're working on the real one. I'm working on this swatch. The next thing we need to do, the next step is to, let me show you this. We're going to add a button band, add some little decoration right here in the center. Right, Bird? You like that? So, and then we'll have stitches over here, but we're going to run this button band up the center of the back of the sweater. Alright, so the button band is 9 stitches. It takes 9 stitches to do this button band. And we're going to have some yarn overs. We're getting ready to work it in just a minute. But before that, we need to take 9 stitches from the total number that you cast on. I cast on the real one 105. If I take away 9 stitches, I will have 96 stitches left. So I need to divide 96 for this side, and then the 9 stitches is going to be here, and then the opposite side of the ribbing. So when I divided it by 2, I got 48, and of course 9 is the button band, and then 48 on the opposite side. You will do the same for whatever number you cast on. Does that make sense? For my little swatch I'm using, I had 57 stitches, just for those so that you'll know. I had 57 stitches. I took away 9, and it left me 48 or something like that. So I have 24, 9, 24. See? Alright, that's just so that everything is centered and nice and neat. So now make sure you have lots of markers. The first thing I suggest you do to make it really easy is to go ahead and count over to the button band, however many stitches. On my real one, I would count over 48. And then the 9, and then the 48. On this sample, I'm going to count over 24. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. And I'm going to place a marker, one of these little locking markers, just like this. Then go to this edge and count in the same number, 24. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. And I'm going to put a marker. We're going to count and make sure we have 9 in the center. Everyone, everywhere. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. There's the button band right there in the center. These are just your side stitches that we're going to work in stockinette. So let's get ready to knit now that we have the button band in place with markers. And we're going to put some moving markers, so go ahead and have you some moving markers when we get to the button band, so you'll know exactly where the button band is. Alright, no, I didn't forget the border. We're doing the border right now. Great thinking out loud. Okay, knit 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to put a white marker. Now, since we've already pre-counted, see how much time it saves and you don't make a mistake. I can just knit right on over to the marker where I have set up for the button band. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'll knit a little bit on camera on this since we're going to do it in 2 parts. We have to. It's so hot and I can't get it all on this. Don't worry, you're going to have enough knitting to keep you busy. So I'm just knitting across till I see where I put in that marker. So I'm just knitting across. Okay, so I come up to the place where the marker, now I need to put a moving marker. See, because I'm going to be moving it on every row. So I'm going to put in that pink one. Right there. It's just a little one just to let me know. Stop. That starts the button band. Now I'm going to count over or knit over 9 stitches. Over to the next marker. Just like that. Oops. Don't go too fast, Jay, and mess up. And like I see, you can always double check because everyone will have the same number of stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 1 is 9. And I'm going to put the second marker. I can move these in just a minute. Now you're just going to continue across knitting all the way, and don't forget to put your border marker on this side. When you get to the last 4 stitches, put your marker to match and turn the work. I will see you on the wrong side when we get to the button band. Okay? Continue across your long row. Alright, so now once you finish coming across the row, the right side, and you knit the border stitch, you put a marker. Now when we turn the work, we're on the wrong side, and I just wanted to remind you of something. Alright, we will borders, I knit, we're knitting in garter, so I'm going to knit every row. So I've already knit the first 4 stitches, put the yarn in, slide the marker, put the yarn in front. Now I am purling, because stockinette is knit on the front, purl on the back, for people that are still kind of new, or you start to want to make a transition. Okay, so now I'm just purling over to where I have the first marker that represents the button band. Can you see that? I'm just knitting across. Now my hands kind of get in the way. I'm a thrower. Some of you are continental knitters, but that confuses me. So I get over to my marker. Now watch. I'm purling across, but the button band will be set up just like a border. We knit the borders on every row. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it's on the wrong side or right side, we knit across. Okay, so when I get to the marker and it tells me, Jay, stop, this is the button band. Okay, take the yarn where I was purling across, put it in the back so I can knit, slide the marker. Now I'm going to knit the 9 stitches that represent the button band. So I'm just knitting across now. I didn't run into, way back in the day, I didn't run into a lot of continental knitters at the yarn shop. Most of them were like me, Thor, so I don't know if we were just behind down here in the South or what. So I get to the end of the button band and I see the marker. Remember, we're knitting, but I need to slide the marker. Now I need to go back into purling this side, because this is stockinette. Knit on the front, purl on the back, yarn in front. Now I'm going to purl across. I'm just showing this on camera, then I don't have to show it again. But I will remind you all the time, and I'll show you any little tricks that I have to help me to slow down sometimes. And or to just plain look ahead and see what the next step is, or what. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this row real quick. Yeah, us throwers, we do waste it. I guess they call us primitive, I guess, because we do make a lot of arm motion. See how I'm have to do this and do that, but I tried. I'm just used to it. All right, I get to where I see my marker, yarning back. But those that want to learn it, learn it. Don't be afraid, learn it if that's what you like. Slide the marker, the yarn is in the back, so I can knit the last 4. At 78, if it ain't broke, I ain't fixing it. There, I said it. Okay, now we just finished the wrong side. Take a look at it. Take a look at yours when you finish that long row. Now we're going to talk just for a minute, and then I'll work off camera and come back. Alright, so now when I turn again to the right side, now we're moving. Okay, you knit the border, and you're going to just knit all the way across, because on the right side, we just knit. You just knit across. When you get to the button band, you knit it, knit every row, so you just keep knitting just like a border. You knit all the way across. It's only when you get to the wrong side and you're purling back, you have to remember to put the yarn in the back for the button band and knit the 9 stitches, then it comes back to the front and purl. Alright, now I want you to do that. Work across just like I've shared with you, working this button band in until you can count 4 ridges. See remember, anytime I work with garter stitches, it's all about the ridges. You're going to have 4 ridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I will come back and we will start making our yarn overs. We will go into the pattern of the little button band. So I'm going to do that off camera real quick, and I will be back. And I want to share with you, check and see if you have 4 ridges that you can just pull them down and count 1. Let's see if I can put it up close. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is on the needle. Can you see that? 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one. And now I'm on the right side row, ready to knit back across. This is when we're going to go ahead and add the little buttonholes or yarn overs. So on the right side, of course, I'm just knitting across. That's the easy part. And this little button band is very simple. But I thought it would be so pretty and I get to finally use more of my buttons. Got so many. Okay, so I'm up to the button band. See there? Check and make sure you have your 9 stitches. Alright, I slide the marker. Everyone, everywhere. This is what you do. The first 3 stitches you knit. Just knit 1, 2, and 3. This is inside the button band. Then a yarn over. Okay, now the next 3 stitches you're going to make a double decrease. You're going to slip 2 and knit 1. So I'm going to slip 2 stitches, knit 1 stitch, stop. I got a strand of yarn there. Okay, stop. Now reach back and pass the 2 that you slip over one at a time, or however you do it. I go one at a time to make sure I got it over and off the needle. Then yarn over again, and look, you have 3 stitches left. 1, 2, 3. So I simply knit those 3. 1, 2, 3. They're they're going to represent the buttonholes that our faux button will fit in. Slide the marker, and then I continue on across on this right side row. See, I just knit across, and then I knit all the stitches. Let's see if I can get across real quick, and then we're going to stop and top for. Okay, coming up. While I was knitting off camera, I thought, I don't know why these things come to me. I thought, man, I wish I had a popsicle. I just remember when we were kids, there was a store up on the corner. There was always a store up on the corner. And they had popsicles. You could buy a 5-cent popsicle. Back in the day. All right, I just get up. I'm just kind of working across here. I never have figured out what's wrong with these lights. On the camera, they blink. In real time, they don't blink. I don't know how that works. Oh, I got them at the Dollar Tree. What can you expect, Jay, for $1? All right, so there you go. I have laid in my first yarn overs in the 9 stitches. Now I'm going to walk you through. Okay, so when I turn the work, I'm on the wrong side. Remember, I had it marked. So you're going to knit the borders. You know, on every row, we knit the borders, the 4 stitches. Then the yarn in front, I'm going to purl. Then I go back when I get to the button band. I slide the marker and make sure you put the yarn in back, and you just knit all the stitches. Knit the 9 stitches, the yarn overs and everything. Just knit each stitch carefully. Then slide this marker on this end, put the yarn back in front, and purl back until you get to this border. Now, when you turn the work, after you do that on the wrong side of the button band, then you're going to knit across, okay? Then work back. You only want to put the yarn overs on every other right side row. Had to throw a little something in there to keep you awake. If we didn't put a little space between each one, let's see, I don't want to show you the real one yet. We're not there. Okay, here is Let me move this so you can see it. Here's my little practice button band that I practice. Can you see there? You have just a little. You don't want the yarn overs right on top of each other. You need a row or so between them. So I just worked the button band with you the first time. Okay, and then on the wrong side, I knit the button band. Okay, then you're going to work the row back. Then go across the front again, come back. Then you'll be ready, because it's every other row. You will come to the button band, knit 3, yarn over, slip 2, knit 1, reach back and pass the 2 slip stitches over and off, yarn over. See the 2 yarn overs? That's your clue right there that you're doing it right. Yarn over on this side, there's a stitch in the center. Then knit off 1, 2, 3, and then get back into your regular stockinette. Knit on the front, purl on the back. You just have to stay awake and remember to only make the yarn overs on every other right side row. Now, the next thing, and I'll work some off just so you can see it when we come back to catch up. All right, the next most important thing after you get this started. Well, now how far am I going to work this stockinette and the button band from the ribbing? I worked mine until I had it. Well, first of all, let me say this. If you've not knit the sweater with me, the faux swag sweater, you need to take a measurement right now. You need to get someone to help you to measure from the top of your shoulder down to your waist. From the back, top of your shoulders, go down to your waist. And make it an even number. Don't stop at 17. If it's only 18, go down to 18. If it's mine, maybe was around 19 or almost, I just went to 20. Go to a nice even number that you can always remember. All right, so I have 20 inches to fill up this back. So I want to take this section before I start adding. We hadn't even added the lace yet. I want to go at least half. So that's at least 10 inches, and I'd go a little bit more. I'd go at least, maybe I'd do 11. If you're tall, you're going to do 12, something like that. But all the way up to your underarm. From the side all the way up to the underarm, almost to your armpits. Okay, that's a good way. You can go almost to your armpits and your armpit, and then stop, and that's where you're going to wait for me there. And then we will, then of course we will start looking at the chart and the pretty stitch that we're going to be adding, and just make sure we're all on the same page. All right, so right now you're going to be working this button band back and forth, yarn overs only on every other right side row. I'm going to take a little time and I'll work a little bit up in just for a last thought, or if I need to show you one last thing, I will end this video here. Like I said, unless I come back with something a little extra just to make sure you're clear. While you're going to work this long piece of fabric, and then you're working your button band. You got to remember things to remember. Make little notes. Remember, don't be afraid. Hey, masking tape is your friend. Sometimes I'll put a masking tape every other right side row, increase, or I'll even write it out. Knit 3, yarn over, slip 2, knit 1, pass the 2 slip stitches over, yarn over, knit the last 3. If I need that, fine. But you can always think of ways to help yourself. All right, with that said, I will think about it and see if I have a last thought. If not, then I will go ahead and get ready for part 2. Well, what do you think about designing? You see, it's a lot goes into it, and I'm not even on the high end, people. My things are real simple. But just imagine people who really come up with these intricate patterns and things. Hats off to them. They deserve all the credit. Okay. happy knitting, and I will see you shortly. All right, my friends, I just want to come back real quick and give you just a last thought and a last look at where you are on this Faux swag sweater. And of course, I haven't shown you the real project yet because I'm saving that to part 2. This is part 1 to get you up the back, halfway up the back, before we start adding adding the large chart. Now, this is the button band. Can you see the eyelets that I did on every other row, right side row? Can you see them? Now, the buttons will go right here in the center. But once you see the project, you'll see how nice it looks. Nice and clean and just simple, just cute. And for those who, I'm trying to help you not to forget, the things that you really need to remember. Sometimes I will go ahead, even if the masking tape is not, maybe that's not what you need to do, then you can just try a piece of bright yarn to put in this center section, the button band section, just to remind you that you are to knit on every row and increase or do the yarn overs on every other right side row. You just do little things like this to help you. You may come up with something even better. But I wanted you to see it and know what it should look like as you're working up. Well, whew, I'm excited. I'm so glad my friends asked me. Like I said, I wasn't even thinking about it, calling it J Summer School for Stitching. But once they asked, I thought, well, why don't I just break down what I'm working on in real time and show you the steps that I use to keep myself on track. So, this is Jay and Bird, and thank you for joining me. I hope you join us for this Summer School for Stitching project. I think it's just cute. It's just when you see the full project next week. So until then, happy knitting, and I'll be back in just a few. Bye-bye.